The ocean was calm that morning, but no one aboard the ship believed in calm seas anymore. War had a way of turning even the quietest waters into something haunted. Every sailor on deck knew that somewhere beneath the surface, unseen and silent, danger moved. This was the Pacific in 1944, where victory was never certain and survival was never guaranteed. And among the ships that cut through those waters, one would soon earn a reputation that sounded almost like legend. Her name was USS England. She had only been commissioned months earlier, a new destroyer escort in a war already burning across half the world. She was not the largest ship, not the most heavily armed, and certainly not the most famous. But those who stepped aboard her felt something different. She was fast, determined, and filled with men who understood their purpose. Their mission was simple, yet terrifying. Hunt submarines. Find them. Destroy them. Protect the fleet. In the vastness of the Pacific, that task felt impossible. The ocean was too large. The enemy too patient. Yet this small ship and her crew would soon prove that determination could bend even the odds of war. The tension began with intelligence. Messages intercepted. Codes broken. Somewhere far away, analysts sat in dark rooms filled with radio static and flickering lights. They listened, decoded, and watched the invisible battle of signals. One message stood out. A Japanese submarine was moving toward the Solomon Islands. The information passed from station to command, from command to fleet, and finally to the officers who would act on it. Orders came quickly. A hunter-killer group was formed. 3 ships. 1 mission. Intercept and destroy. As England sailed out, the men on board did not know the full story. They did not know how important this mission would become. They only knew the routine of war. Watches. Drills. Sonar sweeps. Endless scanning of the sea. Day after day, the sound of machinery and the smell of salt filled their world. Yet beneath the routine was tension. Every sailor knew that at any moment, the calm could shatter. The first contact came suddenly. A faint sound in the headphones of the sonar operator. At first, it was nothing more than a whisper. Then it grew clearer. Propellers. Movement. Something alive beneath the water. The operator stiffened. He called it out. The ship reacted instantly. Orders snapped across the deck. Engines shifted. Men ran to their stations. The hunt had begun. The enemy submarine tried to escape. It twisted and turned beneath the surface, diving deeper, maneuvering wildly. But England followed. Again and again, she attacked. The first attempts failed. The crew felt the frustration. They knew the submarine was there. They could hear it. But the ocean hid it well. Each attack was a test of skill and nerve. Each failure raised the tension higher. Then came the moment. A perfect attack run. The weapon launched forward into the sea. Seconds passed. Silence. Then an explosion shook the water. The ocean itself seemed to rise. Debris floated to the surface. Oil spread across the waves. The submarine was gone. Cheers erupted across the ship, but the celebration was short. War did not allow time for relief. There were more targets. More danger. What followed would become one of the most extraordinary streaks in naval history. Again and again, England found the enemy. Again and again, she attacked. Submarine after submarine vanished beneath the sea. Each encounter brought new challenges. Some submarines fought harder. Some used deception. Oil slicks. Noise. Sudden changes in direction. But England's crew adapted. They learned. They grew faster and more confident with every battle. Sleep became rare. The men were exhausted. Yet adrenaline carried them forward. They knew they were doing something important. They were saving lives they would never see. Protecting convoys. Shielding carriers. Every submarine destroyed meant fewer torpedoes aimed at Allied ships. Fewer sailors lost to the depths. As days passed, word began to spread. Other ships heard the reports. Commanders read the messages in disbelief. 6 submarines in less than 2 weeks. It sounded impossible. Yet it was real. The small destroyer escort had achieved what no one thought could be done. For the crew, however, it did not feel like legend. It felt like survival. Every contact could have been their last. A single torpedo could have ended everything. Many nights, they stood on deck staring into the darkness, wondering if something was watching them from below. The ocean was no longer just water. It was a battlefield. The psychological strain was immense. Each attack carried uncertainty. Sometimes, they did not know if they had succeeded. Sometimes they waited for hours, scanning the surface for signs. In those moments, fear crept in. What if the submarine survived? What if it circled behind them? What if it fired first next time? But the victories continued. The confidence of the crew grew. They trusted their ship. They trusted their training. Most of all, they trusted each other. Bonds formed that would last a lifetime. In the chaos of war, these men found purpose and brotherhood. Yet the war was far from over. As the Pacific campaign moved forward, new dangers emerged. Air attacks, kamikazes, desperation. The enemy was changing tactics. And England would soon face a new kind of threat. The day of the attack began like many others. Routine. Patrol. Watches. Then the alarm sounded. Aircraft approaching. The crew rushed to their stations. Guns roared to life. One plane burst into flames, but it did not stop. It kept coming. Moments later, it crashed into the ship. The explosion was devastating. Fire spread. Smoke filled the air. Men fought to save their ship. Some carried the wounded. Others battled the flames. Chaos ruled the deck. Yet through it all, the crew refused to surrender. They brought the fires under control. They saved the ship. But the cost was heavy. When the battle ended, the survivors stood in silence. They had faced submarines, survived countless hunts, and now endured the fury of the skies. The war had taken much from them. Friends, time, innocence. But they had endured. England would not return to combat. The damage was too great. The war itself was nearing its end. Yet her story did not fade. It grew. Sailors told it in ports and training centers. Officers used it as an example. Courage, skill, determination. A small ship that achieved greatness. Years later, another ship would carry her name. And though time passed, the legacy remained. The promise that there would always be an England became more than words. It became a symbol. A reminder that even in the darkest moments, individuals and crews could change the course of history. Today, the ocean still holds the wrecks of those submarines. Silent witnesses to the battles fought beneath the waves. And somewhere in that vast expanse, the spirit of USS England lives on. Not as steel or machinery, but as the courage of the men who served aboard her. Because in war, legends are not born from size or power. They are born from determination, from teamwork, from the refusal to give up when the odds say you should. And that is why the story of USS England continues to inspire. It reminds us that history is not shaped only by great armies and massive fleets, but sometimes by a single ship and the brave souls who refuse to let fear win. And as the sun sets over the Pacific, painting the water in gold and crimson, it is easy to imagine that ship still moving across the horizon. Engines steady. Sonar searching. Crew alert. Forever on watch. Forever ready. A guardian of the sea.